independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Trudeau really, really capitalized on this image of himself as the kind of, woke bae prime minister that, he declared himself a feminist, like when he got into office. And then you see that actually, he's rich white man from the upper class of Canada where these things were considered acceptable. And so I think that it will definitely affect people's impressions of him.
Say it ain't Trudeau. It is Trudeau. No! Everybody's heard, though. Brown face. That's it. You're done, bro. You're done. You're done. Nothing. You're not done. It's a month. You may have lost anyways. You may win. I don't know. People have been questioning you last month because of because you fired 2 women who opposed you on a few things. So by doing that, people are asking questions. But Trudeau's woke. Apparently he's not that woke. He isn't. Came out and apologized last night for the brown face. 2001 at an upper class school in Vancouver where he was a teacher. He is, he's got a Aladdin costume on. First of all, not, again, timely, right? Like if it was this year, you go, okay, I get it, because like Aladdin was just out. But this was not timely. And, he had to talk to the media last night.
I attended an end-of-year gala where the theme was Arabian Nights.
Racism.
I dressed up in an Aladdin costume and put makeup on.
The theme was racism. So on the way into work, I'll flip around satellite and regular radio and, podcast all the time because I have a long drive in and I'll listen to just about everything. But I like to listen to what a lot of some of the other people that just go overboard, you know what I mean? Like, well, he's the most racist person. And he's not. He's not. I'm going to say it right now. Is he privileged? Yes. Is it strategic rage and outrage? Yes. This is what we would call it here in America a October surprise. They grab them by the surprise. Right? It's going to happen again. Something will happen with whoever ends up being it, whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump. They'll try to figure something out. The problem is when you're so known, it's harder. But when you look, the media, people have known this is out there for a while. You can't tell me, right? It's like Shane Gillis. Like nobody knew this guy said jokes like this in the past. Nobody did their due diligence. Nobody did. Really? Like nobody ever heard any of his comedy? Ever? That's interesting. Same thing, right? Like this was obviously somewhere. Time magazine broke it. They got it from somebody. It's in yearbooks. It's just strategic.
It was something that I didn't think was racist at the time, but now I recognize it was something racist to do.
Was it racist? It was stupid. First of all, again, the timing in and itself was awful because it's 2001 and, Aladdin had since disappeared. This is the reaction you get, right? Like, and I'm not one. And I've heard people on the right call it. He needs to do this and that. And a lot of what it is, too, is, and I don't think people on the left understand this. When you act at times the way that he has acted, right? Like he's above it all, right? People here in America, the left is really just, he's woke and he's a feminist. He declared himself a feminist and all of these things and he's all of this stuff. And he's just, and it's because he's part of the resistance. And then there he is in his own glass house finding out that he has tossed stones and stones come back and get him. But he's right about this.
The fact is that I look forward to having conversations about how we move forward as a society, how we move forward as individuals. If everyone who is going to be standing for office needs to demonstrate that they've been perfect every step of their lives, there's going to be a shortage of people running for office. I think what is important is that, yes, people get challenged on mistakes they've made in the past, that they recognize those mistakes, and they pledge to do better. That's what we expect of people.
Yeah, there you go. It's that simple, right? Now, here's the issue that some people are having, because apparently there's more photos out there, and he was pressed upon that. And listen to his answer.
Do you want to tell Canadians about any other instances where you were concerned that you were racist?
I want to hear that again because she said a boot. Can we all understand that she said a boot?
Do you want to tell Canadians about any other instances where you were concerned that you were racist or that you had blackface or brown face?
I think it's been plenty. The fact of the matter is that I've always, and you'll know this, been more enthusiastic about costumes than is sometimes appropriate. But these are the situations that I regret deeply.
Is it the only two, or are there more?
These are the situations I regret deeply.
I just want you guys to know I've been very enthusiastic about this stuff. I'm super enthusiastic. Like other people, they're like, I am really like enthusiastic about costume. I get into it, right? I'm a method costume wearer. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's racist. I don't think he's sexist. I don't think any of those things. I think what happens is when you peel back anybody's layers, you find out that guess what? They're human beings. They made mistakes. We live in a culture now where we want to hold everybody accountable in today's sensibility, in today's woke world for things they did in the past. And some people have done horrible things in the past, right? They have. And some people have just done stuff that at the time seemed socially acceptable and they thought it was okay. And in today's world, it's just, no. But come on, get over it. That is just... Here's my thing, and I'm going to tell you this, Just. I call him Just. We're close. It's tough, and people out there have an issue when you go out and you throw around your wokeness to everybody else and kind of get in their face about it and do a lot of things, and only to find out that, yeah, you know what? You've done some stuff as well. And that's the thing I think a lot of people have problems with. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So you'll hear a lot today about a whistleblower.
We are still waiting to find out a lot of the details about this, which remain a mystery. But here's what we know this morning. The Inspector General for the intelligence community, who is testifying on Capitol Hill today, concluded that a complaint filed back in August was credible enough to be considered, quote, an urgent concern. The Washington Post is reporting that an interaction between President Trump and a foreign leader is at the center of a whistleblower report, which included a promise that was so troubling it prompted a U.S. intelligence official to come forward.
Yeah, so somebody came forward, right? So, of course, Adam Schiff is all over this, right? Dip Schiff, he is just all over this thing. This is Phil Mudd, who's not a fan of the president, who was part of the intelligence community for a very long time, talking about this situation and letting a little bit more in on it about this promise and what took place. But most importantly, what in God's name are these people doing listening to Trump's calls?
Boy, I'm about ready to blow a gasket. Can you explain? That is extremely unusual. And I listened to presidential phone calls when I was an official at the White House under George W. Bush in 2001. Can you explain to me, A, why it's the U.S. intelligence community's responsibility to listen to the president of the United States speaking to a foreign leader, and B, why the U.S. intelligence community, under the rules provided by the Democrats in Congress, are responsible to report to the Congress what the president of the United States says. Last I checked, Chris, when I served, we're responsible for chasing the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, and terrorists. We're not responsible for reporting to the Congress.
Yeah. And Schiff, of course, says, there's something going on here. There's a cover-up. And it's like, no, you're not a tattletale. You're not. Just stop with this stuff. It's not your job to tattletale on the president. He can promise all kinds of things. He's allowed to do stuff like that. Yeah, as long as he's not breaking some law like, hey, you can come over here and take anything you want. He's allowed to make promises and say some things.
what the president says. He can say what he wants, Chris. I want to ask the Inspector General why it is, again, the responsibility of the intelligence community guys to say, we got to complain about what the president says, and we, the intel guys, have to go report to Congress about what's going on in the White House. The intel guys, last I checked, reported on North Korea and Iran, not on whether the president wants to make a promise to a foreign leader. I am ticked off.
He is pissed. Phil's pissed. I think he was on with, was it Chris Cuomo? And Cuomo was like, because Cuomo thinks, it's another thing we got him on. This is it. And, man, I don't think he saw Phil Mudd coming. He literally put mud in his eye. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from every single one of you. We're going to be talking about climate change throughout the day. Tomorrow's the big day. Now, Phil, is the big one tomorrow? That's in D.C., right? That's the big one. Okay, and you've sent me something earlier where you need to avoid because it's going to be huge. So tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day with the climate change thingy going on. Greta Thunberg is here.
It is the IPCC special report on global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius. I am submitting this report as my testimony because I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to the scientists. And I want you to unite behind the science. And then I want you to take real action.
That was her talking the other day. She's going to speak at the UN as they all get together. But NBC has been kind enough to put up some confessions that you can confess. You can confess. It's climate confessions. I'm going to read a few of these throughout the morning. I will tell you. It's sad. Let's go to transportation. One person writes, I fly too much, partially due to work. But on the flip side, I do not own a car. Another person writes, when it comes to meat, I would rather the whole planet burn than give up steak. Kick rocks, hippies. You can make your confessions either here at Chad Benson Show. Or you can text me, 323-538-CHAD, or go to NBC and make confessions to them. We'll be talking about this throughout the day, right here on Climate Confession Radio. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Oh, man. It's been a bad week for Antonio Brown being sued. Now Nike's dumped him. Yeah, Nike's dumped him. I think he's got some serious issues. I do not believe he's going to be playing football after next week. I think he may play this week, but I think there's some stuff coming down on him. Ooh, man, money problems potentially with sexual harassment, and now nobody wants to touch him. Hey, kids, you sleep well last night? I did. Why? MyPillow. That's right. Worked out twice yesterday. Got in last night, took a shower, climbed in my awful bed, but I had my MyPillow travel pillow with me. Boom, out like a light. Great sleep. I didn't even move. Now, Mike Lindell, CEO, inventor of MyPillow, wants to do something for you, my listeners, because you guys are awesome. Great discounts, huge discounts. What you do is you go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio icon, and boom, it's a radio listener special up to 50% off. MyPillow's mattress toppers, bed sheets, and so much more. It's huge, including the mattress topper. Normally, it's $90 for you, $29.99. Promo code is Benson. All MyPillows come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Now, what you do is you go to MyPillow.com, you click on the radio listener special, or you call 800-983-4975. You're going to save up to 50%, including the body pillow, for $29.99. Enter promo code Benson for these amazing specials. 800-983-4975 or MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Interesting study done out of Japan. They compared the use of alcohol-based hand sanitizers to regular soap and water hand hygiene. in terms of its efficacy to kill the influenza virus. And what they found was that the germs on the hand actually have to be dried for the alcohol-based hand sanitizers to work at maximum efficacy. We have to remember flu is transmitted via droplets, hand sanitizers. If it's the only thing you have, still use it.
Oh, that's a doctor right there. The good doctor talking us about the flu, because the flu is supposed to be kind of nasty. That's Dr. Jen Ashton talking about the flu. Now, what kind of strain? Because, when you go get a flu shot, it's kind of a crapshoot, right? It'll work, but to get maximum efficiency, it has to be the right kind of flu shot for they're kind of guesstimating, all right, this is the flu we think is going to be out there this year. What's the big for this fall and winter? What is everybody wearing during flu season?
The predominantly circulating strain was the H3N2. People may remember that from last year. It causes particularly severe symptoms. The good news is that type of strain is included in this year's vaccine, but we won't know how it hits us until it's hit us.
Let me ask you, Doc, is it an inclusive vaccine? Because I really want an inclusive one. If it's not inclusive, I'm not doing it. Speaking of that, Merriam-Webster is also releasing their words. They got new words. They got some new words, kids. They got some new words. They got inclusive language, too. It gives new and non-binary meaning to the word they. So congratulations to that. People celebrating all over. It's just so stupid. Chad, that's not very nice. Some of the other stuff in there. Tall boy. Producer Phil, you know what a tall boy is?
It's a 16-ounce beer, isn't it?
There you go. You got it going on. Vacay, sesh are just a few words that are also put in there. Like a session, a vacay. Going to go on a vacay, have a drank session with my tall boy. Look at that, Chad. You've officially arrived. You've officially arrived with they. Oh, my God, I'm so not inclusive. I am, because I want to make fun of everybody. If I didn't make fun of you, it's because, well, I make fun of me. I do. It's good. They, meaning us, will be right back. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Oh, say it ain't Trudeau. Man, it's blowing up. It is. We'll see what happens with him. So you have a chance to stick around. It's a month away. Climate change, big. Tomorrow, a lot of kids going to be out of school. I think they're hoping for 1 million kids to skip school. A lot of schools are with it as long as you get I feel like it's a political thing, and you guys shouldn't be involved in that. But, hey, it is what it is. And Greta Thunberg is here. She is the young girl who kind of started this really big, especially a movement among the youth of the world. Stood out in front of the Swedish parliament holding a sign, and then she started to gain some notoriety and some fame, and it really took off. And she's here in America. She can speak at the UN. She spoke already to our politicians in Congress. And she is... Well, I mean, it's interesting. You know, she came over here. Like, she puts her money where her mouth is. She came here on a boat that's supposed to have zero emissions, right? Like, it's carbon, it's net neutral. Well, I don't know what the hell it is. It wasn't a pirate ship. You know what, today's talk like a pirate day. But she's been out there, and tomorrow's going to be massive. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. And this shouldn't be a battle. We should all want better for the environment. Can we all agree on that? Can we all agree that we should want better for the environment, for the world that we live in? This is our home. We may differ on how we get there and what we need to do. We can't be insane and say, nope, we're going to keep everything status quo. Human beings have no part in this. We do have a part in it. And we can't be insane where we say we need to change everything right now, even if it means it damns our economy and our country.
Is that the U.S. government can't even begin to imagine the massive political shift that has to happen in order for us to solve this issue. The politics just hasn't been invented yet. Solving the climate crisis goes against everything that our country was unfortunately built on: colonialism, slavery, and natural resource extraction. This is why the youth are calling for a new era altogether.
This is the problem that people have, is it feels like it's been hijacked, because it has been, right? And for people who want better for the environment, for people who are really into it for the reason because they believe that this needs to happen or we're all going to die. And I've got one of the girls that works here, her sister, she's like, my sister sat me and my brother and my family down and started going over all the things, talking about how the world's going to come to an end and all of this stuff. And, you know, how eventually we may even resort to cannibalism. You had a Swedish scientist talk about that. It's insane, right? And it's become a cult and a religion. And some people are using it for, you know, some people are using it for their own, meaning they want power. They want to change certain things. You know, the Green New Deal has very little to do with anything other than grabbing your green and then taking the rest of it to make sure that we can social justice the hell out of it. I am good with, let's figure out a real way of doing this. But you have some people who are like, I mean, just, it's tough to have a conversation. And other people are like, you know, like I can have a real conversation. We had Benji Backer on last year. He's a conservative. And he is a person who believes, he's a conservative who believes it's all man-made and that, you know, we need to act now. Again, a lot of us agree in certain stuff. It may be different sides and size of it, right? Some people say it's none. Some people say it's all. I'm more in the middle. I think both sides as far as what nature does, because as we all know, nature will mess you up. And on the other side of things, I know man has played its part in this. But we all like to get to a better place. I've yet to find somebody who wakes up every morning going, you know, if it was up to me, I would destroy the earth.
People call my generation Generation Z, as if we are the last generation. But we are not. We are refusing to be the last letter in the alphabet. I am here before the whole country today, announcing that we are instead Generation GND, the generation of the Green New Deal.
That's politics, right? That right there is politics. And that's the fear, is you're using something, fear, which both sides do, right? Trump's used certain, you know, immigration in a way that he's evoked emotions out of people, and emotions get people to act, as we all know. And the Green New Deal's doing the exact same thing. You know, we're all going to die. We've heard climate calamities throughout history. We have. We've heard it throughout history. Now, we're acting on some things, but it's also being used in a way to grab power and to scare people into action. And the first action is vote for us so we can enact all of this other action.
To my fellow conservatives, the climate is changing. It's time to claim our seat at the table and develop smart, limited government policies to establish American leadership on this issue. There is a reasonable, conservative approach to climate change, and we need to embrace it. To President Trump, climate science is real. It's not a hoax. It's accepted that humans are having a negative impact on our climate. As a proud American, as a lifelong conservative, and as a young person, I urge you to accept climate change for the reality it is and respond accordingly.
There you go. He's a conservative. Benji. Good dude, by the way. Good dude. And the young, as he went on to say, have a lot of power. And I absolutely agree with that. And they should be out there. And this is their fight. I've been saying this for a long time. This is their great fight. This is their, you know, there is no great war. There is no war to end all wars. There's none of those things out there. We're at a safer time in the history that we've ever been. We've got more food. All of that. So we talk about this ad nauseum. They need something to rally against. And this is their thing. And it's a good thing. I don't like that it's being used in a way and usurped by people who have different ideas of why they're using it, meaning they want more power, use it to, socially reconstruct a lot of things in a way. It's a good thing if we do it right, and using technology, I think we could do a lot of different things. But I also know there are just some things we're not going to be able to change, right? Some of it we can. And the earth has been around a long time, much longer than us, and will be here much longer after we're gone. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I do love hearing from every single one of you. So Biden is slowing down in the polls, and I gotta be honest with you. He's not up for it, right? He's not up for it. And just listen to this.
This is the United States of America. There's nothing we are incapable of doing.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
When the kids from Parkland marched up to, and I met with them, and then they went off to up on the hill.
My long friend, time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend.
Union workers, the UAW took incredible cuts in their future. Make sure the make sure you have the record player on at night. If Donald Trump is reelected in multiple magazines carrying multiple bullets, I'm the only one up here who's ever beat the NRA. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over fact. When Bobby Kennedy and Dr. King had been assassinated in the 70s, I want to be clear, I'm not going nuts. If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight.
It's tough. It's tough, and I feel bad. But what I also feel bad about is, America's not getting a real look at any of these candidates, right? We're not. Great article today about how bad these debates have been. Viewership is down. The candidates hate it. I tell everybody, watch the town halls. You'll get more out of the 45 minutes that each person has in the town halls than you're going to get out of these things. Now, when it finally gets to the point where there's 3 or 4 and you can have a longer conversation about a specific situation where they can debate their ideas, I'm good with that. 10 is not that number. 11 is not that number. 7's not even that number. 4, maybe 5, but the reality is 4, 3, and then eventually get down to what's probably going to be Warren and Biden, and she's starting to pick up momentum. And I'm going to warn everybody. I'm going to tell everybody this too, and I know I'll get yelled at for it because our good friend producer Phil, who rocks and rolls, just sent me something. Real Clear Politics. This is the fear factor we were just talking about, right? Like, and I see people in radio in my business, and Trump doesn't get reelected, the world is over. No, it's not. It's not over. America's not going anywhere. America is stronger than a singular person. All right? Do we have the ideas of America and who we are? If America falters and falls apart, it's because we will have not learned from the past mistakes. We eat our own, essentially. And we stop being what made us great. We will be the ones to decide when America ends or if it doesn't end. Not whether or not Trump gets reelected or Warren. If Elizabeth Warren or Bernie, people say, well, what happens? I said, well, then they're president, and I hope they don't screw the country up. There we go. We move on with our lives. But they're not going to destroy everything. They're not. They're just not going to destroy everything. Because we have checks and balances here. We do. I heard the same thing when Obama came to power. I heard the exact same thing when Trump came to power from the people on the left. How many people out there thought, well, it's going to probably blow something up, right? It's probably right. Like, what day does he blow up the world? Here we are getting ready to head into, we're heading into election season big time. He's running for his second term. The world is still here. He has not nuked anybody, right? Nobody has nuked us. You may not have liked the way that he has done things. You may not have liked the things that he has said. You may not. All of those things, totally fine, understandable. But the fear of the world's coming to an end, Trump derangement syndrome, come on, stop it. Stop it. Oh, ye have little faith. I'm more worried about the fact that we're killing off comedy That to me is a bigger fear because I think once we stop laughing at ourselves, we're done for. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So I was just told, producer Phil, a sesh is a marijuana session.
Well, already then.
You know that. Yeah, so that's what I was told. How true is that? I don't know because I don't do marijuana. Just letting you guys know. Tall boy, you're right, tall boy. Pickleball. Hasn't pickleball been a game forever? Like
I thought so. I know a friend who's been into it for years.
Here's one, Fatberg. You know what that is?
I can reason to
No,
guess.
it's not a bunch of fat people just hanging out inside of a pool. That would be hilarious too, right there. That'd be a Fatberg. It is. You're such a jerk, Chad. It is a large mass of fat and solid waste that collects in a sewer system. Solopreneur is a entrepreneur who's doing everything apparently solo, I guess. It's so weird. Dad joke, which is 2 words, whatever. Something that's corny. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Fatberg. I'm going to get the emails. You're so mean to fat people. That's a person breathing. You sweat when you put on your shoes and they're Velcro, probably have an issue. So that's all I'm trying to say. Lightstream, kids. Said it yesterday. I'll say it again. $27,900 is the average credit card debt, by and large. I mean, the debt that millennials have, and most of that is credit card. People think it's student debt. No, most of it's credit card. Most of it is. Maybe you got a kid at home. They're like, they've gone to college, right? They got some grants. They paid a little bit, but they were living off their credit cards that they got. And now they're paying thousands in interest. Well, my friends over at Lightstream want to help you. They can get a credit card consolidation loan with rates as low as 5.95% APR with autopay. And there's even a bigger discount just for being my listener. Now, you're going to save thousands in interest. $5,000 to $100,000. That's what the loan amount is. No fees, no application fees, origination fees, transaction fees, no prepayment penalties. They're going to treat you right. It's so simple, too. They can do it right from the smartphone. Boom, away you go. And I did say a discount for listening. That's right. Pay attention. Go to lightstream.com/Benson. That's lightstream.com/Benson. When you do, you're going to save. How much? Well, a rate that includes 0.50% auto pay. That's right. So you're going to save big time. Subject credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
Shane Gillis is jumping from controversy to controversy. Days after being fired from Saturday Night Live over using racial slurs in the past, Gillis returned to the stand-up stage Wednesday night and took aim at President Trump. According to reports, he said that of all the presidents he's been alive for, Trump would definitely be the funniest to see get shot. He said he's not asking for that to happen, but it would be funny because Trump would see the shooter coming at him and tell him to sit down, and he'd make a funny noise when he got hit. Gillis was supposed to make his SNL debut this season, but was fired before that happened.
Oh, no! It's a comic. Get over it. You shouldn't joke about stuff like that. He's a comic. He's a comic. He pushes. Look, at this point in time, he's going to push the envelope. I think at this point in time, you think, right, it's already out. Boom. I maintain it's the best thing that's ever happened to him. I said that. I'll continue to say this. People want to work with him. Other comics. People are trying to figure out who he is. He's had a spike in his popularity, his searches. He'll be able to go now. And it's funny because like if he was to come here, like any place, I would bill him as former SNL cast. Shane Gillis. Yeah. So best thing to happen. But he said something mean about Trump. Well, I mean, you don't say stuff about like that to the president, but it's a joke, and we all sit there and we move on with ourselves. Not going to freak out. I don't think he really goes, I hope he gets shot. There are people out there that believe that. Just look at people out there, the same thing for, when Obama was president, which is stupid and asinine. But it's a small group of people. Small group of people. It is a tiny smidge of people. But he's going to, bet me, he's going to get a hi. Hey, just want to check in on you. Yeah, we're hanging out and we're like, hey, we heard that joke and we thought we better see what's going on with you. And he'll go, uh-oh. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Today is Talk Like a Pirate Day. Every September 19th is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Right? So I'm pretty excited about that. So now is your chance to talk like a pirate. You can go to places like Long John Silver's. They're giving out free fish to anyone brave enough to dress like a pirate. And it is near Halloween, so you can get your pirate outfit. By the way, I posted a hilarious picture of apparently Mr. Rogers' niece, who was, how should we say this? It's one of the hot costumes this year for Halloween. You'd like her to be your neighbor, if you know what I mean. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Darkening your face, regardless of the context or the circumstances, is always unacceptable because of the racist history of blackface. I should have understood that then, and I never should have done it.
He was in Winnipeg today. Does anybody know where Winnipeg is located in Canada? It's one of the provinces. Anybody? If you said Manitoba, congratulations, you're a winner. I don't think he should be gone. I don't think he should be thrown out of office. I don't think any of those things. It's so funny to watch people freak out about this. You know what makes me laugh is the right goes crazy. And I understand why. They get upset and pissed off, right? And a few of them, right? There's some people out there that are just normal and they're like, this is stupid, let it go. But there's a lot of other ones who they make it way bigger. What they want is it just to be an even playing field in life. First of all, he's Canadian, so there you go. Secondly, he comes from nothing but privilege. He didn't know. He's apologized. Not a lot that can go on from here on out. If you don't like him, vote him out. You got a month to do it.
It is something that people who live with the kind of discrimination that far too many people do because of the color of their skin, or their history, or their origins, or their language, or their religion, face on a regular basis. And I didn't see that from the layers of privilege that I have.
He didn't see it from the layers of, and he does have layers of privilege, by the way. He's born into success and money, and he did something stupid years ago. Let's just all move on. People can't, and it's amazing. But I will say, think about the way that certain people get hammered for things. But I saw somewhat of a comparison today with, do you remember Megyn Kelly? Like what she did? She just talked about this, right? And she got canned. And then he's done this, and now we're up to our third. They even asked him today, so just, how many? Is there more? And how do you not even remember this?
I think the question is, how can you not remember that? The fact is, I didn't understand how hurtful this is to people who live with discrimination every single day.
That wasn't a question. The question was, how can you not remember? Your answer was, I heard a lot of people today, and I didn't understand that. That wasn't a question. They don't. He may have done it more. Maybe he hasn't done it more. But the Megyn Kelly thing, because you're going to see a lot of comparisons, and I'm a straight shooter here. I throw it out there. This is what it is. Well, she shouldn't have been fired for that. Megyn Kelly didn't want to be there. Nobody at NBC liked her from the onset. It was a great opportunity for them to go, ha-ha! And it was a good opportunity to go, all right, get me out of here. The problem is that'll follow Megyn Kelly around for a while, where other people, Ralph Northam, will it follow them around? That I don't know. That I do not know. That's the frustration that people have is, well, wait a minute here. That's stupid. That's silly. And again, I don't think he talks about intersectionality in this intersectionality. The intersectionality, eh? He should finish every one of the ha 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 ha, but he didn't. He did not. So we'll see what happens. There's a month until, and it's a dead heat right now, and this is what we would call an October surprise. The difference is they're having theirs in October, so this is a September surprise, eh? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Do love hearing from every one of you. Looky.
The Washington Post reporting that the genesis of a whistleblower's complaint allegedly involves the president promising something to a foreign leader that left the Trump administration official unnerved and deeply concerned.
I just listened to Phil Mudd, guy who worked in the intelligence. All you have to do is listen for the first few seconds of what he says here to realize this right here is everything you need to know. Because Cuomo was like grilling him, wants to get this, and I think he thinks that Phil Mudd, who's not a fan of Trump, but seems to be pretty damn conservative outside of that. Listen to what he says here.
Boy, I'm about ready to blow a gasket. Can you explain? That is extremely unusual. And I listened to presidential phone calls when I was an official at the White House under George W. Bush in 2001. Can you explain to me, A, why it's the U.S. intelligence community's responsibility to listen to the president of the United States speaking to a foreign leader, and B, why the U.S. intelligence community, under the rules provided by the Democrats in Congress, are responsible to report to the Congress what the president of the United States says. Last I checked, Chris, when I served, we're responsible for chasing the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, and terrorists. We're not responsible for reporting to the Congress.
Yeah, he's pissed. And of course, now this gives an opportunity here for, the likes of Adam Schiff and everybody to jump on board and to do the things that they enjoy to do, which is, hey, we got a chance to go after Trump. It's another one of those, wait a minute here. What are you doing? Well, we were listening in and we heard some things that we didn't like. Okay. And we ran and we told Adam, because he's like our best friend and he promised us it's going to be really, really nice to us. He did. He's like, I'm going to be good to you guys. And I was like, Adam Schiff is like super cool. He's like my uncle. Dip Schiff is the worst. You know it. I know it. We all know it.
If in a matter within the jurisdiction of the Director of National Intelligence, you have an employee of that community or a contractor or detailee who follows the law and makes a complaint, and it is possible for the subject of that complaint to essentially quash the complaint or keep it from Congress, then this system is badly broken.
Well, there's lots of systems there badly broken. But if our intelligence community is now spying on our president and running and telling you things, which, what did he say? People want to know, right? IG saying, you know what? No, killing this. Sorry, this isn't for you. But this is where we are. They're looking for everything they possibly can to get Trump. And at some point in time, I hope people, right, like sane people, even people that are just regular Democrats are like, you know what? Can you guys just get over this? Can we just move on? And Nancy Pelosi, who yesterday in, I think it was the Atlantic or Politico, kind of just, she went into when they were having a big meeting and she basically laid down the law. Like, here's the deal. We got other stuff to do. If you guys are going to go chase this, there is no votes that you're going to get on this the way that you think you need to get. So if you're going to go chase this, go ahead and chase this. But guess what? You're going to find out that people are looking around saying, you guys had this for a couple of years and you did nothing with it. So maybe, just maybe, you aren't the ones to be in charge. Maybe, you think? Trump did get a victory today, by the way, in California about his taxes and whether or not he could be on the ballot.
The decision says a state does not have the power to make tax return disclosure a condition for getting on the presidential ballot because federal law controls the rules for running a federal election. But California can appeal to the Ninth Circuit, where Trump's legal positions have often been rejected.
Yeah, and then what will end up happening is, like most of the Ninth Circuit, it goes to another place called the Supreme Court, and even when it has nothing to do with Trump, usually it gets shot down because you want to talk about activist judges. But he got a little bit of a victory there in this whole quote-unquote resistant world that people live in, right? I'm cool with resisting. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. I'm mad at the fact that Trump, went after California with the emission standards. Because I just think, you know what, state law, if they want to do that, fine. If they want to pay for if they're not going to get fresher, newer cars because, these car companies aren't going to build cars specific for California. California's goal has always been, in many ways, to get people to move to big cities, get away from the rural areas, more, thumb control for people. By government, got their thumb on you to make everybody, instead of spreading out, work up and live up. That's always been their thing. They would love to have that. Hence the reason why they're still trying to build a damn choo-choo train that they're never going. They're already, I mean, God, I was reading something the other day, how far behind they are, even further than they thought. They can't even get the damn land to build the train. Can't even do it. And why it's important for the entire country? Because usually as California goes, a lot of other states and cities look in and say, ooh, we should be doing that. That's what we need to be doing. No. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Texas under massive rain. Heavy rain in Texas. And I mean massive. We're talking like, it looks like end of days in certain areas. It is insane. Beaumont is getting just crushed. It is nuts. Houston, it is going to be ugly, big time. The amount of rain that some of these areas are seeing, and they're saturated. How about these numbers? 133 rescues by noon, the Harris County Sheriff's reported. Flights are completely delayed out of George Bush because the airport's flooded. National Weather Service urged residents of 4 Houston counties to stay indoors because of flash flood. Jefferson County east of Houston, the Green Pond levee near Beaumont is deteriorating, could break at any moment. 20 inches of rain in that area alone in the past 24 hours. And Beaumont looks like it's even worse. So it is ugly there. And don't see a lot of break coming. For all the hurricane, this tropical storm may end up doing more damage. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. Do love hearing from you. I wonder if J.J. Watt has another one in him. See if he can raise another one. What did he try to raise? He wanted to raise like $1 million, and he raised like some ungodly amount of money. He might have to do it again. I'm just saying. He might have to do it again. And those guys and gals are going to be out there working in this. Just Godspeed. That is a job. It is. They're telling you, think about this. They're telling you to stay indoors because it's nasty and gnarly so they can go out and help. And in many cases, rescue people who didn't listen. Silly. Tough job. Wounded Paw Project. Speaking of first responders, I've been working with them for a while. I absolutely love them. Love them. The things they do are amazing. They rescue dogs that would be euthanized. Train them to be service dogs. So they go from a shelter dog. Essentially is like, we're going to get rid of this dog. And we're like, no, we'll take him. Right? That's what they say. And then they train them. And people said for years, you can't do that. Like you need to get certain animals to get trained. No. This is what they do. And they get them to our veterans, first responders, and their family. And what it can do for a family, for a first responder, for a veteran who is fighting inner demons is amazing. But they need your help. They do. Car, RV, truck, boat. It's a vehicle for change. Amazing tax deductible gift. Plus, Get ready for this, kids. They also take cash. What? Miracles don't come cheap. Their motto is save a paw to save a life. Become a part of it. See what they're doing. Check it out for yourself. WoundedPawProject.org. That's WoundedPawProject.org, or call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729, or WoundedPawProject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show, the only place so far that the Mueller investigation hasn't deep probed for collusion.
Stay tuned.
This is Chad Benson.
According to authorities, Alani admitted to sabotaging the plane, which was carrying 150 passengers, but said he did not want to hurt anyone, only to get overtime pay by creating a maintenance problem. But the FBI did not take his story at face value. They launched a full-scale investigation, taking special interest because of the sensitive nature of Alani's job. If convicted of tampering with the plane, he faces up to 20 years in prison.
Now, here's an interesting thing. Apparently, there's been some, they found ISIS material on his phone, shootings, beheadings, things like that. And so now the alarm bells are really going off. On top of that, he has said in the past, I guess, to other people that his brother was in ISIS. And then some people are saying he didn't even have a brother. But then his brother's in ISIS. It's a weird story. It's very, it's a crazy, odd thing. But I continue to tell you, and you guys, you've heard it first here for a long time. People underneath the airplane, the people who deliver the bags to and fro, the people that have access to things that could bring an airplane down, scare me far more than whether or not there's somebody in the front who says they've got a bomb. Because they don't have a bomb. If they do have a bomb, it is because it is underneath the airplane. And it's been packed there. And that would mean somebody else had to help them. I don't know what kind of vetting they're doing, but I think that they should start vetting a little bit harder. That's what I'm trying to say there, kids. That's it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tomorrow, a couple big, exciting things going on. You've got the climate. Is it the walkout? Is it a protest? Because kids are walking out and they're protesting at the same time. And then you've got Area 51. And we're going to touch on that in a little bit because that looks like it's going to get groovy. That is. Poor Alex Stone's out there right now. It's like, I heard him. He's like in a wind tunnel. It's like, I'm out here in the middle of godforsaken nowhere. See how many people actually show up there at Area 51. And, it is, man, that's nuts. And they've already arrested a couple kids from Holland who apparently went there. They're YouTubers. And guess what happened? They got a little bit close. They thought they would. I think everybody always wants to test to see how serious they are about certain things. And what I've noticed is they're very serious. Even when you roll up and you are legally, you can be there in a certain area, you watch what happens. Somebody will roll over and just sit there and look at you. Yeah. Well, go ahead. See. Maybe tomorrow somebody does something crazy. And then what? They'll thin the herd. Let's talk a little comedy. Joining me, Speech First. We're going to talk about it. Lady runs a great program over there. Nicole Neely joins me straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You listen to my show, you know that, well, PC, I am not, which is good. We don't need any of that anymore. I think at this point in time, everybody's sick and tired of walking on eggshells. But there's a certain group of people out there that love it. This week, Shane Gillis got fired from Saturday Night Live, having never even appeared on Saturday Night Live. A week after he was hired, you've got Dave Chappelle, who got hammered over his new special just by critics and the crazy people on the left. And, of course, you've got Bill Burr's new one, and he's getting a lot of blowback from that. Joining us now is somebody who understands that, Nicole Neely. She's the president of Speech First, and you got a great article in Real Clear Education about the PC campus world that we live on. And it's been known for a while, Nicole, that comics don't want to go there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, people like Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock have just flat out refused to. They say, it's no fun anymore because all you do is you end up with a bunch of students who clutch their pearls and they wag their fingers and they say, that's not funny, that's offensive. And frankly, I think a lot of the time they're taking offense on behalf of others. They're virtue signaling, and they just said, it's not worth it.
No. And you know what's funny is you say that, and I always try to remind everybody, people who are usually offended, for the most part, are people who really have no skin, if you will, for lack of a better term, in that game. They're just offended for somebody, and that drives me crazy, Nicole. Why are you offended by somebody who you have no reason to be offended for?
Right. I think a lot of it is, you're trying to show how woke you are, right? You're trying to show how correct you are, and then you're trying to shame other people. It's funny because when that guy this week got fired on Saturday Night Live, I don't think his shtick was that funny, but hey, I'm Asian. I think it's fine. I grant him a dispensation. I think he should be allowed to go on. But, it's just when people are allowed to take offense on behalf of others, why can't I say it's okay on behalf of others? I think it's patronizing, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking to Nicole Neely, president of Speech First. So, here's something that I don't think people understand. Bill Burr, Jim Jeffries, so many, Jesselneck, all of these people that are great at what they do in their craft. And they're at the point now where they don't, Daniel Tosh, they'll offend you. They don't care. Their audience is big enough. My fear in the future, Nicole, is we're killing off comedy and we're never going to allow great voices to be heard because in this day and age, it's just impossible to allow something like that to happen. So there won't be any more people replacing some of them because they'll never have a chance.
Right. The whole point of comedy, right, or humor, satire, parody is kind of to stick a finger in the eye of authority, right, to kind of fight back, because it's like the little guy against the big guy. And if we can't do that, then there's no fun. It's just, what's the point? And you're right. Nobody's getting the practice. And people like Daniel Tosh, people like Jerry Seinfeld, they can not take those gigs. But about a year ago, there was an up-and-coming comedian who tried to do a routine at Columbia, and he was actually pulled off stage because they thought he was, wasn't funny. He was offending marginalized communities, and he's like, I need the money. It's kind of sad.
It is sad. It is absolutely sad, and look, it's just. To me, and I said that this week, and I continue. I've been saying it for a long time. It's not, first we had retro outrage. Now it's strategic outrage. And it's not just comedy. People wait nowadays to find that moment that somebody's getting to the point where they're ascending to stardom or something like that. And they strategically release certain bits and pieces that will cause a stir and potentially get them fired or ostracized. And it's just, are we not allowed to make mistakes anymore?
I think that's a great point. I think, the strategic, let's go back, let's parse through what you said in high school on Twitter, to go and pull somebody down. But also, I think there's a real intentional chilling effect going on here. We can do this to him. We can do it to you too, right? So you better mind your P's and Q's, keep your head down, keep your mouth shut. Don't even try it.
That's the scary thing right there. That's the scary thing is people don't understand that they're weaponizing this thing. And there are people who've done reprehensible and said reprehensible things. Nobody denies any of those things. But even now, Trudeau going through what he went through, the brown face, the whole 9 yards. Is that really who he is? Or did he do something he thought was funny back in the day, not based on the woke culture we live in now? And for that, we're going to make him pay the price. And I don't agree with a lot of his politics, but I'm just, it's so bizarre.
Yeah, no, I saw it this week that one of the original producers of the show, Friends, said, he's embarrassed now when he looks back at the show. And I mean, you're judging a show from 20 years ago based on today's standards, and you can't really do that, right? I mean, the founding fathers were not super woke, right? But it's to look back and then say, well, this wouldn't fly in 2019 that's a bogus standard.
Totally. Talking to Nicole Neely from Speech First. She's the president over there. What's funny is like everything else. Like you go back and look at sports, for instance. You go back and look 20 years ago at the NFL compared to today. The stuff back then is probably not going to fly now because the game has totally changed. We need to give people the opportunity to have a moratorium of things that happened 20 years ago, saying, there's a statute of limitation of certain things, and we're going to let that fly.
Yeah, but I mean, how can people learn from their mistakes, right? How many people go into college fully formed human beings at 18, right, with perfect opinions? You grow, you evolve, you learn a little bit more, you change. I mean, my gosh, I went to school a Democrat and I came out a Libertarian. So, I was able to grow up, and I think we should allow other people to learn from their mistakes too.
Yeah, big time. So you know what? And I don't think people understand. Comedy has been used as, and we touched on a little earlier, as a weapon in a lot of ways for social change, for all kinds of certain things that you can stand up to the man and have fun doing it. And I've always said, my biggest fear in this country, the biggest fear I have, isn't an outside invasion, is we are eating ourselves from within and we're losing our sense of humor. And I think once we've lost our sense of humor, Nicole, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't laugh, you're going to cry. And, that's no fun. I mean, we should be allowed to laugh at things. I mean, there are people, there are situations, there are things that are funny. But if you're only allowing, people within a community to talk about themselves, I mean, who's going to be the final arbiter of that? Like, I'm half Asian. Do I have half a vote? It's just, who's drawing the lines? It's people, it's people who are arbitrarily making decisions on behalf of others. I like Dave Chappelle. I want to watch Dave Chappelle's show. I don't want him to get shut off Netflix or, canceled because some people found him unfunny. I'd like to make that decision for myself. And if I don't like it, I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, like food, right? Like, I don't like it, I don't want to eat it, and I only eat what I like. And I think that should be the same thing for anything else. And when you go and look at Chappelle, it was, and even now, Paper Tiger, which is Bill Burr's new one, where he attacks all kinds of things that make people uncomfortable, which is good. Even like, I love Bill Maher. I don't agree with him, but I enjoy his show and I like his takes because I think he's what I call a classic liberal. He's not uber progressive and he's not crazy, and it makes me laugh. I don't want to see people who have important voices in the world of comedy who can reach a mass audience be shut down.
Right. And I think, discomfort is good. Discomfort is, there's some growth. There's I didn't think of it that way. If you only want to be around people and ideas that you agree with, where you're comfortable, you're not growing very much.
No, you're not. In your article, you talked about what happened at, was it San Diego State, where was it the koala article about safe spaces and how they ended up having to go to court over that because they took their funding away from the school newspaper.
Right. It was a school version of The Onion, basically. The whole paper was supposed to be satirical. They made fun of safe spaces, and the school freaked out about it and pulled their funding to try and shut them down. I mean, come on. So, to be fair, safe spaces are stupid programs, and they should be made fun of. But for the school to try and just exercise this universal authority, I'm glad that the Ninth Circuit stepped in. They did have to take them to court, which is insane. But the court said, you are obviously trying to shut them up from speaking, and you can't do that.
Where do we go from here? That's my thing. We do our little dog and pony show here. We have fun. We laugh at stuff that should be laughed at, and we criticize things that should be criticized. And I think nobody's above either of those. And but where are we going to go from here in the future? Because you were in college, much closer than when I was in college. And I look back, at this day and age, I think to myself, what is this next generation or two or three going to look like with no sense of humor, anxiety, and no understanding of how to be self-deprecating and enjoy the fact that, we're all a little bit different. Let's laugh a little bit. And it's not mean-spirited.
Right. No, I think people are starting to get a little bit fed up with it. It feels a little Victorian to me, frankly, of, people finding a fence around every corner and microaggressions. And I see kids on college campuses now, they get in trouble for University of Michigan. They said bias can be intentional or unintentional. I can get in trouble for making fun of something, even if I don't mean to hurt somebody's feelings. Like, that's insane. these are impossible standards to meet. And I think, there has to be reckoning at some point.
Yeah, I doubt that. Let's be real. That is so, it's like, how do you, it's no longer what's said, it's how it's taken. So that's the scary thing in this. It's how it is taken. Love having you on, Nicole Neely. I'd love to have her on again. Thanks so much for coming on. She's the president of Speech First. Check it out, speechfirst.org. Thank you so much for taking time with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter, ChadBenson. I love comedy. I'm going to continue to love comedy. I'm going to continue to watch comedy, but I do have a fear, and I talked to several of my friends who are comics and who some of them are well-known, and we've joked about this, that there is nobody that's going to have an opportunity to be in the wings because it's just not possible. You're not going to change. You're not going to be this comic that's kind of boring and slowly move their way through. And then when you have a chance to be big, you're going to go, look, this is who I really am. It's just not going to happen. And, it's scary. It is. And when we lose our sense of humor, when that goes, when that is gone, that right there is a massive blow. We cannot allow that to happen. Yes, there's a difference between people who are awful and horrible and have said and done things in the past. We understand that. But there is also a place where, you know what? Comics should have a safe space, too, when they're working. Satire should be allowed to work, because when we lose all of that, that, my friends, is when the end is near. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Ha-ha! Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
I think, a lot of times, you lose your quarterback and, right off the bat in the first week of the season is that, I believe in them. I think that Gardner, I feel better about him now today after week one than I did probably during the preseason.
Gardner Minshew, I posted a picture of him. He is a trip. He's the quarterback for Jacksonville. Nick Foles, who came over, right, backed up Carson Wentz. Then Carson gets hurt, leads them to the Super Bowl, has to come in last year, does a hell of a job, decides he wants to be a starting quarterback again, as he should be, heads over to Jacksonville, gets a bunch of cash, then breaks his collarbone, and in comes Gardner Minshew, a 6th-round draft pick with a porn mustache. He's part 1970s and part Chuck Norris. And he's not making a lot of money. I mean, for the average person, he's doing all right. For the average person, he's doing good. Salary this year is $495,000. He signed a 4-year, $2.7 million contract. Here's the thing. Only 190 of that is guaranteed. He'll be starting the game tonight. What I love about him is he's just a crazy, wacky guy. He's Gardner Minshew the second. There is no first. The adult site Cam Soda, because apparently, everybody says, he stretches in the locker room in just his jockstrap. And they've offered him an endorsement deal to teach fitness classes in a jockstrap. Oh, my goodness. He is, they call him the ultimate Florida man. He's something interesting. Tell you what, it'll be fun to watch him tonight. It will be. I love football. I do. It'll be interesting. I like crazy people. That guy's crazy. He's crazy fun, and he may just pull it off. You don't know. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I do love hearing from every single one of you. I do. Instagram. You guys are familiar with the Gram kids? Well, they're doing something a little different, and this will be very interesting to see how this thing plays out.
The products include appetite suppressant lollipops and flat tummy detox teas, often pushed by celebrity influencers, notably Kim Kardashian, whose Instagram feed features sponsored posts.
It's like a part of my job, the Instagram.
The entertainment network E posted this video of one of her photo shoots with the protein shake.
It's a great one.
Critics have called the products unhealthy, saying many are just laxatives and the celebrities promote unrealistic body images. Now Instagram says it won't show those posts to users identified as younger than 18 and will remove posts when promoters make miraculous claims.
Yeah, because this is a weird world of social media that we live in, right? Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody, it's no longer, I want to be a TV star, movie star. My son is 9 and he's like, I want to play pro football or I want to be a YouTube star. Like a YouTube star. Not a rock star. He wants to be a YouTube star. They're trying all these social medias. They're trying to be conscious of certain things, right? Like they're going to remove this if they think it's BS or if this person's full of hate or whatever that they deem. And it also hurts their brand. I mean, because if they're already talking about, Instagram's talking about eliminating the likes. Now, you can like something, but you won't see how many likes they have. What's that do for them? Because they've allowed people like the Kardashians and Jenner to become so massive that the thought of them leaving, I mean, what was it? Was it Kylie Jenner? Was it a year ago, where she didn't use it for like 4 or 5 days and says, I'm kind of getting bored with it. I might move off. I might go to Snapchat. And their stock tanked. It just went, it did. And, you know, these people make huge money. And if you start taking away their dollar bills, they're going to look elsewhere for their dollar bills. So do you run that weird thing? Like, what do I do? What don't I do? What do I do? I wonder what she gets. What do you think Kylie Jenner gets per post? What do you think, Phil? Per post.
I think, didn't she get $500,000 for the fire post?
Oh, is that what she got? She should have given it back. Oh my God, dude. It's now $1 million per post. $1 million per post. Some are 1.2 million on average. Here's some more. Ariana Grande gets almost $1 million. Cristiano Ronaldo gets $975,000 per post. That's huge. That's some good money. That's some real money right there. That's some real dollar bills. Good God, that is. Hey, you know what? If you got it, use it, right? Kylie has 141 million followers. I think Ronaldo has the most. I think he's got 175 or 180 million followers. I think he has the most followers on the gram. How could you not? It's like, hey, you guys want to go out to dinner? Yeah, hold on a second. Let me post this. All right, cool. We're going to eat in Paris tonight on the plane I just bought. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. And I often wonder, what does it look like if you're a company and you're spending that kind of money? I mean, that's Super Bowl ad money almost for a couple posts. But you're reaching an audience that's massive. But do you get the return on your investment? That is a good question. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I do love chatting with all of you. I try to get back to all of you as best I possibly can. Sometimes it gets a bit overwhelming, but Godspeed. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We don't want a political issue at the polls. We want a solution in the Congress, and we want it now.
That right there is Nancy Pelosi. I bet you guys could tell those dulcet tones that are flowing out of her mouth. She's talking about prescriptions, right? She's talking about that. And I think we can all agree we want cheaper medication. We want people to be able to afford medication. We do. Absolutely. It should be bipartisan. She even talks about it.
We do think that there could be very strong bipartisan support for this legislation.
Maybe there is. But she said something about, well, we don't want to win. Everybody in politics wants a win. Everybody does. And therein lies the problem with modern politics, is they want to win so bad that they've put party over people. I mean, here's the insanity of that. So you got Kirsten Sinema, right, from Arizona, who is getting censured as a senator representing our state here by her own party and the progressive side of it because they don't feel that she's doing a good thing in the way that she's voted in some of these things along with Trump because she's been independent of the party. So even if this is the point where you're putting party over people. And when somebody does go, I'm going to put people and do the right thing that I think as the person who's in this position over the party comes after you and says, no. That is not a winning solution. It is not. No other business would work that way. We have checks and balances for a reason. The problem is they use these checks and balances as a political game of BS to stop any kind of progress. And it is frustrating. I don't care what it is anymore. They can't, you would think, okay, well, what can we do prescription-wise? Right? What can we do? What can we do to make it easier for people to afford their prescriptions? What can they do? What makes us look better? Right? What makes us look better? Because whatever makes us look better, we're going to do. Well, do nothing. Okay, that makes us look better. We fight it. We do nothing. Why? Because the other team may get a win? Republicans did it with Obama. Didn't want him to have a win. Right? Democrats are doing it with Trump. Don't want him to have a win. Don't want him to have a win. That's why I say in politics, you got one shot as the president usually. You're going to have a chance on one big thing that you can get done. One big thing. Sometimes you may get two, but you'll have that chance. Obamacare, tax cuts. You have a shot at one big thing because all of the stars and the moon and the earth have to align. Right? You got to have the Congress. You got to have the Senate. And you got to have the presidency. And usually in such numbers that you can get to a position where you can get stuff done. But then you know there's going to be repercussions. And that's sometimes is our checks and balances. Sometimes we overdo it. There's no bipartisanship anymore unless it's stuff like, hey, we all vote that puppy dogs are nice. Yeah, we do. And there's going to be one. I abstain. It's like, really? Well, I'm the cat people. They're my lobby. That's the ridiculousness of it all. It is. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at me. By the way, AR-15s, get them while you can.
The AR-15 is one of the most popular selling rifles. There are an estimated 16 million of them in private hands. Colt said there has been a significant excess in manufacturing and plenty of AR-15s to meet the demand. Colt said it would stop making the rifle for civilians and instead focus on its military and law enforcement contracts, which are currently absorbing all of Colt's manufacturing capacity. Gun rights advocates have criticized the company for moving out of the civilian market, but Colt said it remains a stout supporter of the Second Amendment.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's a money thing, right? Like, isn't that what it is? Last time I checked, it's about business. You produce guns. We've saturated the market. There's more than enough of them out there. There isn't that kind of demand anymore. So, and I saw some people today so pissed off at Colt, like, this is it. Like, the guns right lobby got to you guys. They've done this. This is it. It's over. Oh, you're done. No, it's not. They just got to the point where they're like, look, we saturated the market. Plus, we got government contracts. And as we all know, government loves to overspend. They love to overspend. Speaking of government, he's really sorry, eh?
Darkening your face, regardless of the context or the circumstances, is always unacceptable because of the racist history of blackface. I should have understood that then. And I never should have done it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. You got caught or whatever. I don't. I'm trying to figure it out. One of the things that made me laugh though when you listened to him talk earlier was the fact that he just talks about, he's excited about costumes.
Do you want to tell Canadians about any other instances where you were concerned that you were racist or that you had blackface around you?
I think it's been plenty. The fact of the matter is that I've always, and you'll know this, been more enthusiastic about costumes than is sometimes appropriate. But these are the situations that I regret deeply.
Is it the only two, or are there more?
These are the situations I regret deeply.
That was last night before he came out today, because there was two other pictures of him, one in blackface. But producer Anthony said something. He goes, because he's very enthusiastic about costumes. And I'm like, Anthony goes he goes the whole 9 yards. Look at his hands. He does the whole thing. Even his hands, he put makeup on. He does the whole thing from top to bottom. That's a long night in Canada tonight. And he's not woke. He is, woke-ish. Woke-ish. The problem people have on the right, I'm going to tell the people on the left what the problem people have with the problem on the right have with the problem on the people on the left, is people on the right look at this and they laugh and they sit back and say, well, why don't you guys do something about it? Because if it was somebody on this side of the political aisle, you would destroy them. We don't want them destroyed. But it's funny, some people are angry, but it does make me laugh that you don't hear that. And all those people want is like, look, people do stupid things. We need a moratorium on stupidity. There is not a person listening right now that hasn't done something ridiculous and stupid in their lifetime. There isn't. There is not perfection out there. He's embarrassed, right? He had readily admitted that, he's lived a pretty damn good life. And, because of that, just maybe, he lost the plot when he was younger.
It is something that people who live with the kind of discrimination that far too many people do because of the color of their skin, or their history, or their origins, or their language, or their religion, face on a regular basis. And I didn't see that from the layers of privilege that I have.
Yeah, and he's got a ton of layer of privilege. Dad was prime minister, grew up in a very well-to-do family. The benefit, here's another benefit, right? I told producer Phil today, I said, dude, look at him. I mean, he's kind of like a little bit like Gavin Newsom. He looks like a rock star, right? Standing up there, he looks like $1 million. Tall, dark, and handsome, and the whole 9 yards. And that's another privilege we don't talk about. Look privilege. So he grew up in this world of privilege. He did something stupid. We should all move on with it. But people on the left, people who freak out over stuff and about inclusivity and stop being, people on the right say stop being so politically correct and you guys freak out over everything. I'm here to tell you that settle down, right? And all the people on the right want to do is, look, we don't want him fired, but in theory, Megyn Kelly talks about blackface and she's done and dusted. He actually has not one, not two, but so far 3 that have surfaced in full. Again, he goes the whole 9 yards. He is definitely a method costume person. And, that's all. Now, he's Canadian. He's got a month until the election. It's a close election right now. But that's the thing I always want to tell people. It's like somebody tweet, that lady from, and I don't want to use her name, from the New York Times tweets out about hating white people and kill white people, blah, blah, blah. Nothing happens. And then somebody on the other side would get destroyed for it. All they want is, look, if you're going to do it to one, you do it to the other, or don't do it at all. It's like playing sports, right? If you're going to call that on me, call that on him. That's all we're looking for. What are the rules? Stop moving the goalpost. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Apparently, this whole whistleblower thing that is swirling around D.C. with somebody who was in the intelligence community that was upset about something or a promise that Trump made to a foreign leader, and that foreign leader may be the Ukraine. That's what the Washington Post is reporting. We'll see where this goes. Is this really a big deal? It depends who you talk to, right? The left, Adam Schiff, this is it right here. This is the biggest deal ever. This is yet another reason to get rid of him. People inside the intelligence community, people who've worked in there saying, what are you doing listening to the president's phone call and then running over and telling the Democrats what he said? That is insane. You're weaponizing a portion of our government. So, well, we'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So I went out and played ball. It was awesome. Ran around for about 45 minutes. I haven't plugged my Raycons in, my earbuds, in like 3 or 4 days. That's how long it lasts once you charge these things up. It's great. It comes in a little case. Boom. They're in there. You don't charge the actual earbuds themselves. Right into the case. Take them out, and away you go. Fits right in your ears. Super stylish. No stems, no wires, none of that stuff. Ray J, musician, producer, entrepreneur, music guy, understands it's about the audio. It's about the quality of sound. But he wanted to do it at a price that was right, and he has. Half the price of what everybody else charges out there for stuff that's nowhere near as good. Melissa Etheridge, J.R. Smith, Brandy, they swear by him. Snoop Dogg, obsessed. They're comfortable. Take them anywhere. It is amazing. Get yours now. I had to get Jack a pair. I had to buy Jack a pair. I did. I'm like, all right, I'll get you a pair. Because he was trying to steal mine. I'm like, I'm going to get you a pair. Get yours now. You can save 15%. So half the price, better sound, and you're saving 15% on top of that. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. That's buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. A little what's trending straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Somebody just text in and go, can a black guy do whiteface? Yeah, have you seen them? Was it White Chicks? Remember that? The Wayans brothers? So there. Eddie Murphy, that was funny when he did that in the old Saturday Night Live. I love that. I thought that skit was great. I did. All right, let's check out what's trending. iOS 13 trending huge, now available. Area 51 raid. Excited about that. Thursday Night Football Week 3 tonight. Jags and Titans. Should be interesting because of this guy who's also trending. Gardner Minshew. If you don't know who he is, check him out. I posted a picture of him. That's on Google. It's also Talk Like a Pirate Day. On the Twitter, kids. Joel Osteen. Trending because the rain's in Houston and everybody's like, you need to open up your church. Tekashi 6ix9ine is trending. There's a lot of people that are rappers. Cardi B's being dragged in this and other people. Jim Jones, not that guy. And that's happening. It's very interesting. Area 51 is also trending. I'm excited. Trans pizza. I mean, that's, what do you say at this point, at the time? I don't know. And Houston flood, also trending. It sounds like a football coach's name. Hey, what are you going on? I'm Houston Flood. I'd love for you to come play for my football team. It's pretty awesome. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, just saying. Those are the things that are trending around the globe, kids. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from you. We're going to talk about people who want to trend here in a minute and how that is becoming more and more dangerous because people are so obsessed with the interwebs and trying to be famous. that it just, for whatever reason, they could care less. They could care less what's going on in front of them as long as they can make it go viral. As long as they can do that, it's a win. It is a win. It is a win. This climate thing tomorrow I'm interested in to see how big it is. You know that we're talking about plastics. Like 90% of the plastics don't come from here. My question is, why aren't you in Asia? Well, I know you're going to be speaking at the UN, some of you, in their climate summit. But, you know, why aren't we looking at some of these other places, Africa, Asia, where a lot of this stuff comes from? I think the better thing to do is how do we fix that over there when it comes to certain things in our oceans that are out there? That would be sounds like a sensible thing to do, Chad. Well, yes, and I'm just saying. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. The want to be famous, the want to go viral. It's deadly at times. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
They videoed his death instead of helping him.
Police say some of the final moments of 16-year-old Cassine Morris's life were recorded on cell phones and streamed on social media.
Kids stood here and didn't help Cassine. They would rather video this event.
Police say dozens of people watched an unarmed Morris get stabbed earlier this week outside of a strip mall in Nassau County, New York, and did nothing to help.
There was several kids here. There's got to be about 50, 60, 70 kids here. We have a handful of kids that have come forward that have identified subjects involved in this. There is definitely more.
Yeah. Of course they videoed it. Once a week we hear something like this now. What are people doing? We've talked about it ad nauseum. This thing in our hand is the life with which most people now live their life. Right? And it's more important to get your pictures, to get your likes, your clicks, your retweets, than anything else. And this was sick. They filmed this. Long gone are the days where the first thing you do is somebody call the police, somebody call, the ambulance, somebody get somebody here to help. Now it's, hold on a second, I'm streaming it. I got to figure out how I can make sure this thing goes viral.
Morris was taken to a hospital where he later died. Investigators say the fight Morris was involved in was over a girl.
It's over a common girl and a perception of who she might be dating.
Homicide detectives are now urging and warning witnesses to come forward.
You need to get out in front of this. After I put handcuffs on you is not going to be the time to be helpful for you.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys understand that? Looking for something better. Looking for a fresh start. Goes there. Gets stabbed. That's just, and everybody's first response. I mean, there was another incident, I think it was in Florida this week, where kid gets beat up. There's a bunch of people around, and what's the first thing that everybody does? They all take out their phone. Nobody decides to, hey, we should step in and stop this. Nobody does any of that. They just let's film it, and let's be the first to get it out there, because knowing that I got X, Y, and Z amount of hits and likes and this, that, and the other is going to be great for my brand.
Morris had just started his senior year there after moving from Freeport.
We are heartbroken about this senseless tragedy.
Oceanside High School was, Morris's sister says, his place for a fresh start, but it wasn't to be.
He was going to go to school for photography, but he always said he wanted to be a rock star. He was the most peaceful, loving person in the world.
I guess there was, as the kids would say, a beef, maybe with a girl. And It shows you the lack of, maybe there's a certain desensitized way that kids look at life nowadays, and it has nothing to do with video games and all to do with the content that they're able to get and see all the time. But I think most of it is the selfishness of wanting to be able to have something go viral because that is such a big thing. Being famous on the internet is a massive thing. Going viral is a huge thing. So the weirder, the more violent, the more shocking, the better.
Nassau County put out a statement on the stabbing saying, quote, "If you see someone in serious danger, please use your phone to get help, not likes and shares."
You took my brother away from me.
Yeah. Because they wanted likes and shares. Nobody stepped in to do anything. Nobody wanted to step up. Nobody wanted to call. It's sad. It's a very sad situation, but it's very understandable in this day and age. There's an obsession, and I see it with Jack, right? I see it with my son, and the way that he dreams. Like he said, if I can't play in the NFL, I want to be a YouTube star, right? It's no longer I want to be an astronaut or I want to be a movie star. I want to be a YouTube star, right? I want to be this, and I told him, hey, look, dude, by the time you're 15, 16, 17, YouTube may be nothing, huh? I said it may be massive. I don't know. Things change, but that's where it is. And people are willing to do just about anything. And that's, whether it's death-defying photographs that they take of themselves or watching somebody get, stabbed to death. And it's one thing if there's a shootout across the street and you're filming it and you send it to the news and you're not involved in any way, shape, or form, and you've called the police and then you film it. That is one thing. I mean, we all know that. We get that, right? It's another thing when you're seeing something going on and somebody's dying in front of you and you offer zero help. Because it's more important to get, and I'm here to tell you kids, I'm just going to let you guys in on this. Maybe this will help you. If you want to get famous, right? If you want to go viral, let me tell you what helped. One of you putting the damn phone down, stepping in, and doing something, you'd have been all over the place. Just check that kid out. He or she's good. They are good. Look at what they did. Look what he did. Look what she did. That'd have been much better. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. If you guys haven't heard the horrible news, the woke Prime Minister of Canada is in a scandal because apparently he likes to play dress up.
I attended an end-of-year gala where the theme was Arabian Nights, and I dressed up in an Aladdin costume and put makeup on.
Oh, scandalous. Scandalous. No. Yeah, he did. Put a little makeup on. Apparently there's two other ones out there. People are hitting back at him because of the fact that he was very much a person who liked to cast the first stone kind of scenario. Know this. I mean, he's come from extreme success, money. His father was a former prime minister. He's got the look. He's got all of it. He declared he's I'm a feminist. He's all of these things, and he's decried racism. But, they asked him, so anything else out there that maybe because we're hearing there may be something.
Do you want to tell Canadians about any other instances where you were concerned that you were racist or that you had blackface or brownface?
I think it's been plenty. The fact of the matter is that I've always, and you'll know this, been more enthusiastic about costumes than is sometimes appropriate. But these are the situations that I regret deeply.
Is it the only two, or are there more?
These are the situations I regret deeply.
Very enthusiastic about costumes. You know who else is? Cosplayers. They're very enthusiastic about costumes. They get really into it. Those people that dress up like Sailor Moon and, Dragon Ball Z. Those people are very enthusiastic about it. Very enthusiastic about it. He was too, but he did it in such a way that, and I'm going to say it, I don't think he's racist. I don't think he's sexist. I don't think any of those things. I think he was doing something back in the day that at that time was socially acceptable, that it isn't anymore. And I'm not a fan of a lot of his politics, but I just find it to be, so stupid. Please, will somebody let me know? Text me, tweet me. What is the moratorium? Should we have one? Should it be like, okay, anything 5 years and back, right? Anything you did in the previous decade, we're going to let it slide, right? So if you uttered a word that now is seen as a bad word, if you said something that now is seen as evil and wrong, you took a picture, whatever it is. What is there a moratorium, right? Is there a statute of limitation? If we're like, you know what, we're going to let it go. We are. I'm enthusiastic about costumes. Wouldn't that be great on your business card? Chad Benson, radio show host, enthusiastic about costumes.
I still experience grave anxiety about experiencing another climate-driven disaster like Superstorm Sandy and the harm that these storms will have on myself and my family. As someone who already struggles with anxiety and struggles with depression from my understanding of climate change and what I experience, watching our government knowingly perpetuate the climate crisis is extremely overwhelming.
Kids are speaking, not only Congress, but the UN this week. That kid, I hate to say it, is going to have a very tough life, I think. There's a lot of anxiety. I have a feeling if it wasn't climate change, it seems like it's going to be something else. Although he had no problem speaking to a bunch of people that he's never spoke before. I think it's a disservice the way that we have attacked climate change and how we've used it in such a way. Just like we do everything with politics, right? Like, Glenn Beck, if you don't reelect Trump, it's going to be the world's coming to an end. If Trump gets elected, the world's coming to an end. Make up your mind. It's just so insane. Stop using fear. It's not going to do us any good. Be honest with people. We can't, though. That's right, because we have to tell everybody we have to scare them into doing something for us, or we have to placate them in hopes that they'll like us. But you can't be honest with them, because you might just get and they'll just go look somewhere else because they want affirmation, not information. But tomorrow's the big day, so expect 1 million kids, they say, potentially taking tomorrow off. Out of that, 100,000 will march, 900,000 will do other things. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's Talk Like a Pirate Day. Hope you're talking like a pirate in this most festive days. Are you, matey? Talking like a pirate. I wish they had this back in my day when my pirate ship sank, but they didn't. Car Shield. Car Shield's awesome. Think about this. Think about what your car is now. Even my car, it's a few years old, right? And I like, my son gets mad at me. Jack gets mad at me all the time because I'm not like, he's a car guy. He's like into cars. Like, yeah, I'm not. But I still have like computer stuff in there. My car's still got some cool stuff in there. And the thought of getting those things fixed, the repairs, because it's not if but when. We all know this. No matter how good you take care of a car, sometimes things just happen. That's why Car Shield comes in. And Car Shield's amazing. Cover repairs, that's what they cover. Cover repairs. Your GPS goes out, your electronics, boom, covered. Right? Transmission, covered. You get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's being worked on. You choose the shop, take it to the dealership. They don't care. They get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. 5,000 to 150,000 miles in your car. You don't have to worry about high repair bills. Get Car Shield. They've paid close to $2 billion in claims. They're ready to help you. It is simple and easy. Go to carshield.com. Use my code Benson. That'll save you 10%, or call 800-CAR-6000, 800-CAR-6000. Again, mention code Benson to save you 10%, or check out all of the stuff they have at carshield.com and use that code Benson to save you 10%. A deductible may apply. What's trending? Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
right now it's not so much of a music festival as planned. It's mainly alien and UFO believers milling about, setting up tents and hanging out. Eric drove in from Fresno, about an 8-hour drive away, because he says he wants to see some UFOs tonight.
I've seen 8 different sightings in my life of UFOs, and I'm finally here and see what I can see.
Local authorities are so concerned about the crowds that may show up that there's an incident command post set up nearby ready to respond if anybody really does try to storm Area 51.
Think about this for just a hot second. All right, you got it done? This was all on Facebook as kind of a joke. And now they've got a command post out there as a just in case X amount of people show up and we're going to have incidents taking place. Do you understand what I'm saying? Aliens are real. Is that what you're saying, Chad? No, but it's maybe true. You don't know. You don't know if they are or aren't. What you do know is this is awesome, right? Like a smidge. I mean, just a smidge. Just a smidge of the awesomeness right here. I am loving this. So tomorrow you've got the climate, big protests. I think it's only nationwide. I don't know if it's the UN's getting together. I don't know if it's going to be worldwide, but they're going to be speaking at the UN. I think it's either starts tomorrow or it's next week. But tomorrow is the protest, and kids are going to be out of school nationwide. They expect up to 1 million kids. 1 million kids to be cut loose, having fun. I guess. I don't know. It's possible. It's going to be very interesting to see what takes place. See how many kids show up. Because when I was a kid, we had a situation where they were on strike in Southern California. I know, shocker. Teachers on strike in California. What? And the kids went out. They walked out like they were going to support the teachers. And people like me just kept walking. See ya. Good luck. Hope you get what you want. Stop ruining my education, you jerks. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I am very interested to see, though, how many people show up at this event and nationwide what this other thing looks like. I was talking to producer Phil earlier. He sent me something like breaking down where the delays are going to be, what that's going to look like in D.C., because that's where the big one is going to happen. So that'll be very interesting to see the way that thing breaks down. So Trudeau today, I am supporting Trudeau. I'm not a fan of a lot of his politics. I don't dislike the guy. I don't. I am just, quite frankly, I just find the whole thing of what you did 20 years ago that you thought at the time was acceptable, and looking back on it, this whole taking an episode of, and not even an episode, literally a snapshot of a moment in time, and then trying to destroy you or to do something. And I don't care what it is. I mean, I don't care who you are. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. We've got to stop this in this cancel culture. And the problem with somebody like Trudeau, and we talked about it earlier, is Trudeau he throws around the wokeness, right? And that's an issue for a lot of people because you got caught in your own wokeness. You thought, I mean, think about this for a second. Just think about the people that have been in trouble in the last 24 months, right? Think about that. Think about Megyn Kelly talking about blackface and then being ousted. Just think about that. And then you look at something like this, and I don't think either of them should pay the price. And it was a little bit different with Megyn Kelly because they were kind of over Megyn Kelly there. They were. Trudeau today.
Darkening your face, regardless of the context or the circumstances, is always unacceptable because of the racist history of blackface. I should have understood that then, and I never should have done it.
There you go. But, you did get out in front of it, say you're sorry. There's nothing else you could do. You could, you've been an ally to, he even talked about like some stuff today where maybe roll my eyes, I was like, wow. Ally here, ally there, just going through, like, checking all the boxes. But in saying that, just, get over it, please. And I see the people on the right love to make stuff like this, and that's because he throws those stones at everybody else, and now it's come back to bite him in the ass. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I love hearing from every single one of you. I see Friday. Have yourself a good night. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.